Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew Hall. You may call me Dr. Kennard. This is the Disappointed Cat Morning Show. I want to start off the show today by asking a simple question. What if there was a baker in your neighborhood that spat on the cupcakes? What if the only baker in town, mind you, so you have to go there, and the baker just takes a big one, right? A lot of phlegm, and just right there on the cupcakes. Your favorite cupcake. I don't know what your favorite cupcake is. I like chocolate. I like the chocolate with the chocolate frosting. Big fan. I would be angry at that cupcake maker, at that baker. I would be angry. Now, what would be worse than that is if they were telling you, listen, I'm gonna spit in that cupcake, whether you like it or not. This is what I'm gonna do. Sure, you may think that my job is to serve and protect. I'm sorry. That's coming in a minute. It's my job to make cupcakes, but I'm just going to tell you I'm going to spit on every single one of the cupcakes, whether you like it or not. Now, I don't think I'm stretching that metaphor by saying cops that are sworn supposedly to protect and to serve are not protecting, and they're not serving if they don't get vaccinated against COVID-19. Cops can come in contact with immune compromised people. In fact, I'll tell you a true story. At my last job, I had to call the police, or the police were called. A medical emergency occurred. So there were EMTs, a couple of cops showed up at this person's home. This person was not the healthiest individual. He had not been vaccinated yet. But as the first responders came into the house, it's like I had my mask on, of course, but they did not. And I had no idea whether or not they were vaccinated. And to tell you the truth, when cops say that they're going to quit because of vaccine mandates, I say that's great. Good riddance. It's like the baker in town who spits on your cupcakes, and he decides to say, "Hey, I'm going to quit because you don't like what I'm doing here." That's going to be the first story. That's COVID part 1 story we're covering today. Bad cops leaving the state of Massachusetts. 2, we're going to talk about COVID again with red states. It seems, once again, it's good to go over the basics, that the more Trump supporters you have in a county, the more dead people you have from COVID-19. Do I have a graph? I do have a graph. And the third story is secret. No, it's not secret. It's about gay seahorses. And that's not real either, right? It's more about how some conservative Christians, some evangelicals have issues with male seahorses. I wish I was making it up, microphone, but I'm not. You saw all the stories, right? In the description, because all the links are in the description below. Yes, microphone saw everything. Everything. All right, before jumping, I'm going to just continue with this story here about Massachusetts and the state troopers. I'm from Massachusetts. This story is near and dear to my heart. Dozens of Massachusetts state police have resigned over a vaccine mandate, union says. Single tier for all the cops that quit. Dozens of Massachusetts state police troopers have put in their resignation papers following the state's COVID-19 vaccine mandate, the State Police Association of Massachusetts said under Governor Charlie Baker's executive order issued last month. All executive department employees are required to show proof of vaccination on or before October 17th, or they will be fired. What a shame. What a shame. It's almost as if Governor Baker is saying, look, if you suck at your job, which is to serve the people of the Commonwealth, then you should just go. you should just leave. Last week, a state judge denied a request from the state's police union to block the governor's vaccine mandate for troopers, according to WBZ-TV. The police union's attorney told the local broadcaster that up to 20% of the state police employees remain unvaccinated. With the judge's ruling, unvaccinated troopers were only given a few days to get their first vaccine dose, or they will face disciplinary action, WBZ reported. Look, if you're waiting for a judge to tell you that you can spit in people's cupcakes, then you suck. If you're waiting for a judge to tell you that you can put people's lives in danger, you suck, and you should go. You should quit. You should go do something else, right? I don't think that's strange, is it? Microphone? That sounds right. All right. I'm going to check out the chat before we go to our COVID part 2 story today. Sammy, Jenkins, first in, best dressed. You got the power of the hoodies. That's what Cryptameria says. What's up, Tobin Templeman? Hope you're doing well. Dee Parks, Grand Farmer. Oh, my second cup of coffee. I'm feeling pretty good today. Simply Secular Dave. Good morning. Dr. Paul Camish. We should all give everyone honorary doctorates. That's what I think. Everyone gets an honorary doctorate. Math Pig. What's up, Math Pig? Hope you're doing well. As always, a lot of Brits, a lot of people in the Commonwealth over here. MC Fractal, good morning. Good morning. Was I out of line? Was I out of line to talk about state troopers who don't get vaccinated? To be similar to bakers spitting in cupcakes? I don't think I was out of line, everyone. I don't think I was out of line at all. So if this is your first time here, good morning, Jess M. If this is not Jess M's first time here, but in case this is your first time here, if you enjoy anything from the show, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Of course, it's standard operating procedure, correct, microphone, that we tell people that there's no ads on this channel. Everything is funded by patrons and YouTube members, which we thank. We thank you for this, me and the microphone. All right. All right. What's the next story? COVID part 2, everyone. COVID part 2. And I have a graph for this. But first, let's take a moment to celebrate the idiots of America. Oh, man. All right. They're taking their country back, everyone. I don't know what. What are they taking their country back? From common sense, from common decency. Red COVID. Coronavirus deaths are highest in counties with the largest share of Trump supporters. A report. The vaccine gap between Democrats and Republicans is mirrored by a partisan divide in COVID deaths. We know this, but it's good to go over it once again. And is there a little bit of Schadenfreude? Maybe just a little bit of Schadenfreude. Will it affect the midterm elections? I don't know. When major elections are decided by hundreds of votes, maybe less than hundreds of votes, it could have a pretty big effect. President Joe Biden and government health officials have been calling the resurgence of COVID-19 hospitalizations and deaths a pandemic of the unvaccinated, which has been exacerbated by the highly contagious Delta variant. But a new data analysis also suggests that this has become a pandemic of conservatives. In counties where former President Dump, I like that, where President Dump Trump received at least 70% of the vote in the 2020 presidential election, COVID-19 has killed about 47 out of every 100,000 people since the end of June, healthcare analyst Charles Gaba told the New York Times. But in counties where Trump won less than 32% of the vote, the number is a fraction of that, about 10 out of 100,000. So roughly 4 times the amount of people dead in predominantly Trump country. In Trump county counties. Let's go on to the next panel. The Times report featured in its morning newsletter on Monday also referred to a recent Pew Research Center poll looking at the political divide in vaccination rates, which found that 86% of Democratic voters have received at least one shot, compared with 60% of Republican voters. The political divide over vaccinations is so large that almost every reliable blue state now has a higher vaccination rate than almost every reliably red state, notes the Times. Look, I promised to graph. So be the graph. You can take a look here. You get your the states that have a larger share for Trump, larger vote going to Trump here, like Wyoming and West Virginia. And there's a pretty clear positive correlation with people not getting vaccinated. So in West Virginia, 60% of the residents not fully vaccinated. And of course, West Virginia went for Trump heavy. Well, you have states like Vermont, where I was just a few weeks ago. Larger vote share for Biden, many, many more people, percentage-wise, of course, got vaccinated. You got California. It's a pretty good. It's a pretty good distribution. And even though correlation doesn't equal causation, maybe we can say Trumpism causes stupidity. Maybe we can say that, everyone. I don't think it's too radical. All right, last panel on this. The U.S. is still averaging more than 2,000 COVID deaths a day, and health officials are still struggling to overcome vaccine hesitancy in the roughly 36% of Americans who have still not received at least one dose of all 3 available COVID-19 vaccines. Just over half, 55.3% of Americans are fully vaccinated against the coronavirus, according to the latest CDC data. Some places have tried penalizing those who haven't received a COVID vaccine yet as an incentive. In New York, healthcare workers who remain unvaccinated as of Monday risk losing their jobs under a state vaccination mandate that has been pushed to Friday. I read it in an article last night, an update that now New York workers have until Friday to get vaccinated. And those acts over not getting COVID-19 shot won't be able to collect unemployment benefits unless they show proof of medical exemption. That's rough. If you lose your job and you can't get unemployment benefits, that's hard times. And the vaccination rate among Delta employees spiked after the airline said its unvaccinated workers would pay a $200 monthly health insurance surcharge. Did we cover that story on this show a few weeks ago? Yes, about how Delta Airlines charging its unvaccinated idiot workers an extra $200 a month for not being vaccinated. If you're running a business, you shouldn't have a legion of people spitting in the cupcakes, everyone. Going to check out the chat before going to the next news story. Hey, what's up, John Hudson? MC Fractal, talented artist there. Longtime friend too. Good morning, Sean. Glad to see you're here. And well, you know, Jessi Bear, that's right. Once kids get vaccines, I'll worry less about idiots getting COVID and spreading it. Yeah. I don't know how parents are dealing with sending their kids who can't get vaccinated into school. Yeah. I was talking to my 16-year-old about if she had any crazy COVID stories. And she goes, no, it's just, you know, in terms of what's going on in her high school, I guess there are 3 different, you know, health issues going on. There's lice, there's strep throat, and COVID. And you would think if everyone's wearing their mask, that strep throat wouldn't be that contagious. I would think. I don't know. I'm not a virologist. I'm not a medical professional, but you would think having a mask would limit strep throat. John Hudson. Did I say hello to John Hudson? I think I did. Blazing. Fashionably late. Of course, fashionably. How can you could be fashionably early, Blazing? That's who you are. Vermont, where I'm looking to buy a farm with its own private lake. You better look out, John Hudson, because if you're moving up to Vermont, you're going to have Dr. Kennard bothering you. That's what you're going to do. You're going to have that. That's like not a far drive for me. Jessi Bear says, we are lucky our schools have required masks for everyone because the kids can't get vaccines. That's great. That's great. You know, remember Sammy Jenkins? You're right. I did not. You might find this surprising. I might have been a little socially awkward during high school, perhaps a little bit. Let's see. Sean says, gee, the anti-vax states have more people dying of COVID, like 4 times the amount in red states of people dying of COVID. Who would have thunk? Scientists, that's right. Cryptameria says, I think they're in a hurry to meet Jesus. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. Oh, this is interesting. Sean says, strep is very easy to get. It's a staph infection that can be passed through many different ways, but it's usually easy to treat with antibiotics. All right. What's the last story? We're talking about gay seahorses. We're talking about, they're not gay seahorses, everyone. But we're going to talk about evangelicals who are having trouble with male seahorses carrying, you know, what happens with, you know, microphone. It's common. Is it common knowledge that male seahorses carry the young? Is it? I don't know. Well, we're gonna go over the basics right now with this story from Hemet Mehta, the Friendly Atheist. Links are in the description. Right-wing moms whine about children's book featuring mating seahorses. It's the stupid just hurts, everyone. The stupid just hurts. Here it comes. A conservative group called Moms for Liberty, as if the name alone wasn't a dead giveaway to its political bent, has been pushing for Tennessee's Williamson County School District to ban a number of books that they claim are inappropriate for children. Not even for their children, just children. The books as they are with these kinds of groups aren't inappropriate in any way. They just discuss the changing climate, science, and sexy, sexy seahorses. Dirty, birdy seahorses, everyone. So the Moms for Liberty, they sent a letter. They sent, I believe, an 11-page spreadsheet to the school committee to list what's inappropriate in their library, in their reading lists. And this is an excerpt from that letter. Accompanying the letter is an 11-page spreadsheet, here we go, with complaints about schools, about books in the district's curriculum, ranging from popular books on civil rights heroes to books about poisonous animals. Text speaks of horned lizards squirting blood out of its eyes. Johnny Appleseed, story is sad and dark, and Greek and Roman mythology. Illustration of the goddess Venus naked coming out of the ocean. Story of Tantalus and how he cooks up, serves, and eats his son. A book about hurricanes is no good. First grade is too young to hear about possible devastating effects of hurricanes. That's interesting, because I'm sure they tell that same first grader in there at church about Noah's flood. And a book about owls is designated to be a downer. It's a sad book, but it turns out okay. Not a book I would read for fun. An adult wrote of an owl book in the spreadsheet. At one juncture, this group implores the school district to include more charitable descriptions of the Catholic Church when teaching a book about astronomer Galileo Galilei, who was persecuted by said church for suggesting that the earth revolves around the sun. Where is the hero of the church? The group spreadsheet asks. Where is Jesus? Mothers for Liberty's Williamson's County chapter also takes issue with a picture book about seahorses, in part because it depicted mating seahorses with pictures of positions and discussions of the male carrying the eggs. Not a lot goes on in that county, I think, microphone. Not a lot of things go on, so they have to feel like male seahorses carrying babies is going to turn their kids pregnant, their boys pregnant. Is that what they're afraid of? I think that's probably what they're afraid of, to tell you the truth. That reading the book about male seahorses carrying the young is just going to turn their boys pregnant. The group's co-founders, Tina Duskovich and Tiffany Justice, oh my God, you cannot make up these fucking names, made names for themselves over the past year by doing everything in their power to make sure COVID spreads in the schools by challenging sensible mask mandates and demanding that schools open even when the virus isn't under control. And now they've clearly embraced the group's role yet again, another batshit crazy group of Republican moms who offer nothing of substance, but want to make local schools as ineffective as possible, of course. So that's linked to the full description. Links to all these stories are in the description, everyone. I'm going to check out the chat one more. Did I mention did I mention that we're doing the after party after show at 9:30? It's an open panel. It's an open group. It's whatever, an after party, right? The link, if you want to be on the panel, is in the description below. I don't know what we're going to talk about today. We talked about Vegemite yesterday, and we talk about fluff cones, you know, the fluff and other, the marshmallow stuff, right? So who knows what we're going to talk about at 9:30 to 10:30 today. Checking out the chat. Dr. Osiris, woohoo! Hope you're doing well. Well, you're right about that, MC Fractal. Social conservatives ruining everything for everybody since the 5th century CE. Nice, nice. Sean says there should be a children's pop-up books of Leviticus, Deuteronomy, and maybe even the Song of Solomon. That's dirty. That's dirty birdie stuff, Sean. Let's see. I had a person, John Hudson says, I had a person the other day beating me up on my composting, said that it creates greenhouse gas. I think there's a lot of argument. I think there's a lot of things wrong with that argument, John Hudson. There's a lot of things wrong with that argument that they're giving you grief for. I think they might have been trolling you. B, haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're doing well, B. Are you a figment of our imagination, Dr. Osiris? Well, then it's a shared delusion. That's what this is. Okay. We're getting it down to the end of the show. What have we covered today? Bad cops quitting in Massachusetts, maybe 20% of the state troopers. And they're quitting because of the vaccine mandate. I say good riddance. I say we should have a party. Goodbye, bad cops. We covered another story about how red counties that went heavily for Trump have death rates approximately 4 times the level of counties that voted for Biden, that went heavy for Biden. 4 times the death rate. And of course, we just talked about the Moms for Liberty group who are against books in general, I think. Everything but the Bible. And if they actually read the Bible, they'd probably be against a fair portion of the Bible too. What do you think, microphone? Yeah, they haven't. If anything we know about evangelical Christians, they typically don't read the Bible. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. 9:30, we're doing the after party after show. You want to do something fun? Do you think we should do something funny? Let's do something.
I asked if you were available for that project and you said you weren't, but then I saw on social media that you were at the beach. What gives?
Oh, yeah. That was in my free time. You don't get to tell me what to do when I'm spending my hard-earned free time any way that I want to. I can look at my phone or go to a movie or go on a hike or stare at the wall. I could go to brunch or a stroll in the park, to a fancy museum or stare at the wall in my free time. When my boss is me, myself, and I'll be spending my hard-earned free time how I want until I die.
Sage words of wisdom. All right, I'm going to drop the thank you video for patrons and YouTube members. Hopefully I'll see you at 9:30, everyone, for the after party after show. Take care. Shambhala hamla, shambhala hamla. Wow, hey, I'm still here. Sean, I want to say thank you to Sean, because I'm like ranting and I'm pushing buttons and I'm looking at the funny video, and then I look up and Sean, thank you very much for your $20. Every penny counts, because I don't talk about it a lot because I love doing the show, but it is somewhat of a sacrifice for me to be here. But I love doing it. I love performing, and I love hanging out with everyone here. But thank you, Sean. And Shamla Hamla. See you at 10:30. No, I'll see you at 9:30, everyone. I'll see you at 9:30. And thanks again. I appreciate it, Sean. Oh no, I hit the wrong button.